Today, Baba is reminding us that, Baba is called the Buddhivano ki Buddhi in Bharat, and he is called by different names. He is called Restorer of Conscience in Christianity. And basically, Baba says that I am the one who restores your intellect in such a manner, who reinstates your conscience in such a manner that you are again able to discern between right and wrong. Yes, so the interesting thing about the conscience is, if you don't follow the voice of conscience, so the soul in its original design has a conscience. So the soul is knowledgeful. The soul knows the difference between right and wrong, good and bad. But then slowly when we lose our power, then that voice of conscience weakens. And when there is a lot of voice of the Ravan which we are listening to, so when we are listening to Ravan Mat or the voice of Ravan all the time, then we start ignoring the voice of conscience. We start ignoring that inner voice. And the law says that if you do not listen to the voice of conscience many times, then that conscience will lose functionality. And that is precisely what happens. And then we lose this sense of right and wrong. And we are not able to discern intuitively what's right and wrong. People talk a lot about gut feeling these days, because the only organ that's feeling is the gut. So there is no feeling of the conscience. So the conscience is dead. So we don't understand what's right, what's wrong. And the sense perceptions or whatever our senses are guiding us or misguiding us into, we are attracted or repulsed accordingly. So this whole sense of what is right and wrong is restored when Baba comes. And that's why Baba has been upheld in religion also as the restorer of conscience. And Baba says, now I have given you the buddhi or the intellect to understand or distinguish between what's right and what's wrong. So have we received that buddhi? So, the buddhi that understands or discerns waste from best or right from wrong. Do we have that buddhi? And then do we have that willpower? So even if I'm able to discern this is right and this is wrong, do I have the willpower to execute that discernment and make it a decision? So there is one thing called discernment, and decision is another thing. So we have to first discern what's right, what's wrong, and then I have to have the willpower to do as I understand or do as I discern, and that will be called a decision. So Baba says you need to discern and decide. And when Baba comes, Baba gives us knowledge which purifies our intellect. And then Baba gives us the method to have yoga with Baba. And when we have yoga with Baba, we become soul conscious, we become pure. And with purity, with knowledge, with soul consciousness comes the ability to discern. So any soul who belongs to Baba, we Baba's children, we receive the knowledge first of all, And in the knowledge, Baba clearly states what is a vice, what is a virtue. And we live in a world where these words have lost meaning. We are no longer talking in the language of vices and virtues. We are only, so we are living in a world where people are saying that even things that are very clearly wrong, they say it's subjective. So, people say, who knows what is right and what is wrong, or who decides what's right and what's wrong. But Baba gives us very clear understanding of what is a vice, what is a virtue, and then how being vicious is wrong and choosing virtues is right. So Baba gives us absolute clarity, and Baba doesn't mince his words. Baba doesn't leave it to our judgment, because Baba knows that right now we are not in a state to judge for ourselves. So Baba first gives us very clear understanding of virtues and vices, and Baba tells us Baba gives us clarity about how acts of lust and acts of anger are vicious acts, yes, which we heard in the scriptures. But then you see, scriptures, we were reading in the scriptures, we were told that Kam Mahashatru hai, or lust is the biggest enemy. But then simultaneously, we were told that even deities engaged in lust, and these things were there, and they were very contradictory in nature. So we never understood that lust is a vice. And Baba now tells us that lust is a vice, anger is a vice. And then Baba says there is nothing like righteous anger. There is nothing like, righteous ego. So, many people think that this is not ego, this is self-respect, or they think that, this is not ego, this is what I'm meant to do. So a boss is meant to shout or meant to be disrespectful, or in the name of discipline, in the name of uh, creating a system of discipline, we are feeding our egos largely, and we don't even get that, because we have no clarity about lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed being vice. And about attachment, we never thought of it as vice. People think that attachment is a very good thing, and it is the basis of a good family life. And these are the things that we have been taught and trained into. So now Baba tells us that, I give you the intellect to distinguish between right and wrong. And then what is right also, Baba says that being attached is not right. So, and running away is also not right. So Baba says you have to be with everyone and everything and still be detached, still be pure. So Baba tells us what is right. So balance is right. Living in the family in a pure state is right. So, and doing everything in Baba's remembrance is right. So doing everything is right, but then only when it is done in Baba's remembrance. And if it is done in body consciousness, in the sense of I and mine, then it creates a burden. So Baba gives us the sense of what is right and wrong. And Baba activates our intellect and our conscience. And you see that uh, it is sometimes, when you look back at, or, look around also, now we are in Sangam Yuga, but look at the world and look at your life before you had Gyan, and just see how long a way we have come. And do you see that in the world around us and even with us previously, we thought that killing in the name of religion was right, or having hatred in the name of religion is right, or if you look around, then people don't even understand that killing, hating, or having ill feelings is wrong anyway. But in the name of religion, or in the name of restoring peace, or in the name of doing the right thing, people are drenching themselves in hatred. And we read scriptures where we read that God also killed, and goddesses killed, and deities killed, and we were okay with that. We thought that if there's a demon, then physically killing that demon is okay. But why would God kill? And now or why would deities kill? And now we understand that acts of anger, violence, or lust, or ego, these are not deity like or god like. Now we have the discernment, because earlier we thought that even deities had a lot of ego, and they waged wars with devils, and they were interested in acquiring kingdoms by waging wars with devils. So we read all these things, and we didn't find anything wrong with that. Or attachment. We thought that even if somebody is getting emotional and shedding tears, or getting sorrowful when somebody leaves the body, then that person is a very sensitive person, and it's a good thing to be sensitive. But now we understand that no, we have to be stable, and we have to be peaceful under all circumstances. That is the sign of a pure soul, that is the sign of a powerful soul. So now Baba says that now that you have the discernment between what is right and wrong, now you choose to do the right thing. Now you make the decision to be pure, to be viceless, to not engage in any acts of any thought, word, act of anger or violence, and not give sorrow to anybody. Now, you see, if you ask anybody in the world, you just ask one question: do you give sorrow to anybody? What would they say? No. Yes. Why? Because according to their sense of morality, so everybody, so people don't have the sense of what is true and what is false. They don't have the sense of truth, but they have a sense of morality. And according to that sense of morality, if they do something wrong, then what they feel is guilt. And guilt is very difficult to handle. So if if you have been taught that you are walking down a street and there's a beggar begging before you, and you don't give him some money, then that is giving sorrow. Then you will give them money, and you will think that you are a good person, not giving anybody sorrow, because you're not denying the beggar. And why? Because morality taught you that. Yes, but so everybody according, so do you know when we sign some documents or agreements, we use this phrase, to the best of my knowledge and ability. And we are not limited by intent. Very few people are limited by intent. People are limited by knowledge and ability. And that's why Baba gives us, when Baba comes, Baba gives us knowledge and ability. Ability, the soul is enabled through yoga. and the soul receives knowledge through Baba. Because without knowledge and ability, everybody thinks that they are doing the right thing, the best thing, but that's not the best, because you don't know what's good and bad, what's right and wrong. So anybody you ask in the world, are you giving sorrow? They would say, no, of course not. I don't give sorrow to anybody. So why are people giving sorrow? Because you see, how do you know everybody is giving sorrow? Because they are receiving sorrow. Yes, so there is this law which says there is no smoke without fire. So if everybody is receiving sorrow, then definitely they are giving sorrow. But because you have no idea about how you're giving sorrow, so you don't acknowledge that you're giving sorrow. So now Baba tells us that, what are so why do we give sorrow? Because you think that you're entitled to behave in a certain way. So, thought, word, and act are stemming from a place of entitlement. So, I think that I'm entitled to speak like this to somebody, or I'm entitled to act in a certain way with somebody. So, just think about the caste system. So, when somebody is treating somebody else as an outcast, and they are not, they are not allowing them to drink from the same well they are using, or they are not allowing them to sit in the place they are sitting, or they are not allowing them to visit their house, or share space with them, or visit their village for that matter, then is that person thinking that I'm giving sorrow? No, that person is thinking that I'm just doing my duty as a Brahmin. So they are actually thinking that they are doing the right thing. And it is in the guise of doing the right thing that you're giving sorrow. So when a parent is shouting at the child, then does the parent think that they are abusing the child? No, they think that this is an expression of love and care, and this is the way discipline is maintained. And then you're shouting at the child, and then the child becomes disciplined. But then what happens is the child is conditioned into listening to everybody who shouts. So, anybody who raises their voice, so just like, the parents told the child that because I'm shouting at you, you have to listen to me. So anybody with wrong intention, evil intention, when they shout at the child, then the child knows that I have to listen to this person, because shouting is equal to listening. So when somebody shouts, I listen. So even if the child grows up and then force is applied on the child doesn't know how to deal with that force, because any kind of verbal force, any kind of force of authority position, whatever, the child knows how to succumb to that force. The child doesn't know that I do not need to fall a victim to this force. So this is what is happening, but we don't understand that we are giving sorrow, or we are actually not just giving temporary sorrow, but we are training a child to be sorrowful all their life. I remember there was this one girl, and she used to come, and she was exploited by many people in many situations, in many ways. And then I just told her that all you need to do is put your foot down and say that, this will not work and I'm not giving into this. And then she couldn't do it. Why? Because this early childhood, this was the reason. So that was the sanskar. Whenever anybody threatened, she got threatened. Whenever anybody became violent or shouted or screamed, she got timid and she had to give in to that person's demands, because that's how she was programmed. And we don't understand what damage we are doing by, through by being vicious, or so people are not giving sorrow by thinking they are giving sorrow. But we, when we are in Ravan Rajya, we think that acting body consciously, and thinking that I'm entitled and privileged to think or speak or act in a certain manner, in a certain situation, or with a certain entity, is completely moral of me. So, let's just think about, how people go and express their sadness when somebody is dead. They think that, people say that, I'm very sorrowful for your loss. So people think that it is actually their duty to be sorrowful for someone's loss. And we don't understand that being sorrowful is a sin. So you are not relieving them of sorrow by being sorrowful. And in fact, if somebody is not sorrowful at somebody else's loss, then it is perceived as being very self-centered. So we are not doing anything by, or just think about how we are behaving in, when somebody is, or lust, you see, how lust is a part of our duty in a marital life, or when engaging with with the person you love. So people have made this an expression of love. Lust is an expression of love these days. And we never think that lust is a sin or lust is a vice. And in fact, we feel very guilty about becoming pure when you are living in a you are living in married life, or yeah, there was this one mata, and she used to always tell me that, Didi, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing by stopping my husband from engaging in sensual pleasures with me and exploiting my body? Is it not my duty to offer my body to my husband for sensual pleasures? Because this is what we have been taught. So you see that we are not giving sorrow through lust and anger by thinking that we are giving sorrow, but by thinking that this is my duty, or this is my entitlement, or people very loudly they say that I curse you. So when somebody does something and you don't like it, then people are not ashamed of saying that I curse you or I have ill feelings for you. People, with words also they say that I curse you, and you will not, all bad things will happen to you, and you will never find peace in life. And very proudly they say that. And they wait for that day that their curse would, come true. And they don't feel ashamed that this is not a noble act. And you shouldn't be, you should be giving blessings. And if you are giving something which is the opposite of blessings, then you should be ashamed of it. They don't think like that. So we are not giving sorrow by, if we knew that this is giving sorrow, we wouldn't give sorrow. But we think that these things are normal, natural, and I'm entitled by position, power, by relationship to do this, or this is my duty. And now Baba gives us the intellect to understand how much wrong has penetrated into our lives under the guise of being right. And then you are able to discern that, no, this is wrong, this is not okay. And I remember, there was this one brother, and he shared a very good very good experience with me. He told me that earlier, whenever I advise somebody to do something, and they did not do it my way, and then they had a loss because of that, I never refrained from telling them that you are suffering because you didn't listen to me. And then when I met Baba and I felt how compassionate Baba is, that whenever I am suffering, Baba never says that, child, you're suffering because you didn't listen to me. Baba always lifts me up when I'm suffering. Baba says, it's okay, let's move ahead together. And then I learned that this is such a sin, that somebody is in sorrow and you tell them that you're suffering because you did the wrong thing. And then I stopped doing that. So, if you're beating up the one who is already hurt, that's such a big sin. But we do this, I told you so, I told you so, you didn't listen to me, I told you so, and now you're suffering, and you're suffering your own karma. And Baba says you have to understand for yourself that, okay, 63 births of karmic account is coming up, but then you don't have to use the theory of karma to blame somebody. And you don't use that theory of karma or knowledge of karma to blame yourself or blame anybody. And you just understand so that you become detached. You don't, or you can put a full stop, because if you don't understand the law of karma, you keep asking why me, why this is happening to me. So Baba has given us an understanding that, okay, it's because of karma. But we don't use the law of karma to blame somebody, because Baba doesn't do that to us. And only when we understand Baba, we receive Baba's love, we spend this life with Baba, and we start understanding Baba's ways, then we understand the difference between right and wrong. And then we have the power to choose. So this is discernment. And then the more you have yoga with Baba. So what happens with yoga? When you have yoga with Baba, then your body consciousness melts away. And when your body consciousness melts in yoga, when you are purified in yoga, then you are able to do what you understand. Because otherwise, you might understand a lot of things, but body consciousness will pull you to do that which is wasteful or vicious. Because you're very attached to the ego boost it gives you, or the sensory pleasure it gives you. So body consciousness attracts you towards doing even that which you understand is pap. So, if somebody is attached to their taste of the tongue, or to their ego, or to the pleasure of their eyes, then even if you understand, you will not be able to make that decision to not engage in thought, words, and acts that are sinful. And Baba talks about this not giving sorrow, and how you give sorrow through lust and anger prominently, and how you discern and get over it. And then Baba also says that another kind of sin is not taking sorrow. So what is wrong is also taking sorrow. So Baba says that, Baba gives a very good formula today to us, that when somebody says something that could give you sorrow, then hear it, but don't listen to it. Yes, do you know the difference between hearing and listening? So listening is done through the buddhi. Hearing is done through the ears. So let it enter your ears, but don't spend your buddhi on it, or don't engage your ability to think or analyze into it. And when you don't do that, then even if they said something, you will not feel it. And Baba says this is also an act of mercy that you have to do for yourself. And every day in this light, prepare a chart in the night. Did I give sorrow? Did I engage in any thought, word, and act of giving sorrow? Because people are giving sorrow all the time, but they don't know. But we know now, so we have to maintain a chart. And then let me also see how much I took sorrow. Did I spend my spiritual energy? Did I spend my thought and my attention on something that was not meant to give me knowledge or happiness or peace? Did I allow my intellect to linger on that thing? And Baba says, you have to maintain this chart every day, because you are going to be deity souls. And deity souls, you cannot become a deity by having an account of giving sorrow. Yes, so how will you become a deity? So, do you know a deity will have many worshippers? And who are the worshippers? Those who received happiness and blessings from you. So, it's not about just, praja or those who become with you in the kingdom, but you will have lakhs of worshippers. And who are those worshippers? Those worshippers are those souls who have received only blessings and happiness from you. So if you are somebody who gives sorrow through word, thought, word, and act, by being in body consciousness, then you cannot become a deity. So Baba says you have to check your chart every day, and only when you check you can change. So if today, how do you, what is it that fills the gap between checking and changing? So when you check, then you have to make effort to change it. And if you check and realize that I'm not in the state where I should be, then intensify your effort. When you check, then you are inspired to make effort. Yes, so just like, if you check anything, when children appear for exams, what do? They attend mock tests. And in that mock test, they get an idea of how much prepared they are. And that's a method to check their preparation. And when they understand that they are not fully prepared, then what do? They intensify their effort. And when that effort is intensified, then when it is time for the actual exam, then they are ready with, they have changed their speed of preparation and they are ready for the exam. So Baba says similarly, check every day. What was my aim today? So do you have an aim every day? Every day during Amrit Vela, create an aim. Today, I have to give happiness to everybody and I have to do this seva, or I have to use my time and thought in this manner, or I have to give this blessing to everybody I meet. So, this is the thought I need to hold, or these are the kinds of words I want to speak all day, or these are the acts that I want to do. And then later in the night, before going to sleep, check how much of it you could do and what is it that you shouldn't have done and you did. And then next morning, with that resolve that you want to accomplish something better today for self-progress, with the aim of self-progress, you again prepare yourself and engage in a new day. And this is the method to progress on the spiritual journey. And Baba says maintaining a chart, understanding the difference between right and wrong, and applying it and checking whether you gave sorrow or gave happiness, and then putting in the effort to not give sorrow. These are the methods for self-progress. Okay. Om Shanti. Anybody wants to share anything, please do.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Today Baba says that this is return journey,
Mm.
and to progress on the path of purity, we have to imbibe all divine virtues with the help of yoga power.
Mm.
And the more we experience yoga power, we are able to progress faster.
Mm.
For any achievement in this study of knowledge, we have to increase our yoga power only.
Correct.
And Baba also says that now you have the knowledge of good deeds and bad deeds.
Mm.
And so we now have to discern and try to overcome all those devilish traits, such as I have made some list:
Mm.
taunting, ignoring, blaming self for others,
Mm.
forcing,
Mm.
and seeing weakness.
Mm.
All these are giving sorrow.
Correct. Mm.
And so more and more we have to be in our awareness and in our soul practice.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you, Didi. Om
Thank
Shanti.
you, Om Shanti. Yes, anybody else would like to share?
Om Shanti, Didi.
Om Shanti.
From today's class, I would like to share this point that our thought, word, and action that is actually stemming from the sense of entitlement. What we believe we are entitled of, that has to be corrected. Because otherwise our thought, word, and action will have an impact on that, because it is stemming from what I'm entitled and what I'm not supposed to do. So this is something. And another thing I always wondered, although we know that everybody is falling under the theory of karma, but why Baba is so compassionate? Means I always wondered why we are all, हमें हमारा भोग ही मिल रहा है ना, तो बाबा को इतना दयावान क्यों होना है? I used to think like this. But to today's class, I had a deep realization that without anyone, even if we have done all wrong, but still, if Baba is not compassionate to us, we actually cannot change. So compassion is the key to make someone change. Otherwise, if we are, then why he is God?
Yes.
What is more than us?
Yes.
So that's why he's compassionate. That's why he's God, and that's actually the thing that we have to imbibe. Because I also feel if anybody is suffering anything, I understand it's their karma. So I don't feel so compassionate about it. I always think, theek hai na, I'm also getting my karma. He is also getting his karma. What is to feel so compassionate? Itna wo kya karna? But today I realized that it's very bad. We have to be compassionate to whatever anybody is feeling, because the theory of karma is not to blame me, myself, and others. And Didi, also one thing comes in my mind, that if everything is fixed in drama, there is no good or bad also, I feel so. And there is nothing to blame also, and nothing to feel guilty also.
Yes.
So everything is as per this. So it is only acceptance, acceptance, and acceptance.
Yes.
Because everywhere it is a drama actually.
So everything, this acceptance has to be for the scenes of drama, for the other co-actors, but for myself it has to be check and change also. So yes, acceptance of what happened.
Yes.
But in the present,
why have God given me this gyan? If I don't use it for my change, then accept my faults, then what is the point of getting this gyan? So there were many.
Yes, because one aspect of acceptance is also accepting the ishara of drama. So the drama is also indicating us to, it's giving us an opportunity to change. So that is also accepting my part in the drama in the moment.
Because, yes, that's the reason I'm sitting in this class.
Correct.
So drama's push, I have to accept it.
Yes.
That why I'm here today.
Yes.
So drama expects something out of me.
Yes.
I just can't be like anybody else who have not received the gyan.
Yes.
So this is the thing.
Yes. So this is it. Okay.
Thank you, Devi.
Om Shanti.